If you're an enthusiast looking for the ultimate all-weather hot hatch, it doesn't get much better than a Volkswagen Golf R. The company started the Golf R franchise here in America about 20 years ago with the introduction of the R32. Back then it was known for its VR6 engine and standard all-wheel drive system. Now, of course, the latest version of the Golf R was introduced back in 2022, and for 2023, the company is looking to commemorate the 20 years of the R nameplate with this model here. This is the 2023 Volkswagen Golf R 20th anniversary. Under the hood, it still comes with that same potent 2-liter turbo delivering 315 horsepower, standard all-wheel drive with a torque vectoring rear diff, and in America here, you still get the choice of a 6-speed manual or a quick-shifting 7-speed DSG. So if you guys are looking for the ultimate all-weather hot hatch and you want something that's also a little bit more special and rare, how does the brand new 2023 Volkswagen Golf R 20th anniversary stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Now, before we start talking about the subtle exterior styling changes for the 20th anniversary model, let me go ahead and pop the hood and show you guys what's powering this thing. Now, the Golf R is the ultimate version of the Golf, and as you expected, it's going to have the most power in the Golf R family. Now, underneath this hood, you're going to find the latest version of Volkswagen's 2-liter turbocharged direct injection TSI 4-cylinder engine. It's technically now in its 4th generation, and while other markets in Europe, or the European market, get more power for the 20th anniversary version, sadly here in America, we don't get any more horsepower or torque. But this is still the most powerful Golf R that we've ever gotten here in the States at 315 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. This model here has the 7-speed dual clutch transmission with launch control, and that's the reason why it has 295 pound-feet of torque. If you guys go for the manual transmission, which is exclusive to the US market, you get 280 pound-feet of torque. So while Europe gets more horsepower under the hood of this version, like 14 more horsepower, America gets a 6-speed manual and the DSG as an option. So again, it makes it a super unique vehicle. Fuel economy is rated at 23 in the city, 30 on the highway. That's on premium gas. This thing should do about 400 miles on a full tank. It's got a bigger turbocharger. That's basically one of the biggest differences between this motor and the 2-liter turbo and the GTI, because remember, this car still has a whopping 74 more horsepower than a GTI. Volkswagen says the max boost pressure for this engine is 21 PSI. So again, it's a really great amount of power. It puts it among the best in the segment for those of you who are looking at these all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive hot hatches. Now, the company claims 0 to 60 should be about 4.5 seconds. We'll see what we can get in our actual testing. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour, and as this sits, it weighs in at just under 3,500 pounds with the DSG. You could save almost 100 pounds if you guys go for the manual. Now, underneath that hood, which I must say is also very heavy, I'm surprised VW didn't put struts under to hold the hood up or use a lighter aluminum hood. You can see the front fascia of the Golf R looks a little bit on the plain Jane side. I have to say the GTI sometimes looks a little bit more aggressive than this vehicle, but I do love this exterior color. This is really, this is called Lapis Blue. The Golf R is only available in 3 colors for 2023. It's either white, black, or this blue color. And then there are a couple of styling differences for the R. First of all, let me talk about the headlights. All Golf Rs will come standard with the company's full LED headlights. They're IQ Light technology with an LED daytime running light, LED turn signal. You can see here you have an LED low and high beam. There's also all weather lights. There are no fog lights down here. Instead, you have some functional vents here that allow for cooling for the engine. You have integrated parking sensors, the Volkswagen logo, and then you can see here there's a kind of blue line along with an LED light strip that connects the 2 headlights together that goes across the front end. It gives it a distinctive light signature at night. You also have these blue R badges. As you can see, there's a piece here that kind of fell off. Just ignore that. This is most likely an earlier pre-production car. But overall, you can see almost looks a little bit too much like a normal Golf from the front, but as you start moving around the side profile, this is where things start to look a little bit more special. Now, compared to the regular Golf, the 20th anniversary includes some unique wheels and some unique badging. Now, first of all, the overall length at 168.7 inches long. This is about a ½ inch longer than the previous Mark 7 generation. They ride on the same 103.5 inch long wheelbase. So this is a small vehicle. It's smaller than something like the Civic Type R. And then these gloss black 19-inch wheels are unique to the 20th anniversary. I love the way they look riding on the 235 by 35 R19 Goodyear F1 or Eagle F1 summer tires. This is a really good tire, but I would prefer it if they used a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. You can see the brakes are massive, 14-inch cross-drilled front rotors with fixed twin piston calipers or 4-piston calipers, painted in blue, of course, with the R logo. Serious stopping power. You also have adaptive suspension, a standard 4-wheel independent suspension, and VW says you have around 4.7 inches of ground clearance. Now you can see the 20th anniversary gives you the blue R badging here on the fender. You get gloss black mirrors if you guys go for the lapis blue. If you go for black or white, you're going to get a blue painted side mirror. I also like how there's no chrome along the window trim. You can see there's a 20th badge there to show that you have the special version. And then at night, you'll have a puddle light here that'll project 20R onto the ground, which is also a great touch at night. The one thing that I don't like about the 20th anniversary is it deletes the sunroof on this model. VW says they did it to save weight. They didn't tell us how much weight they saved, but I would have preferred to have the sunroof back. But again, for those of you who plan to track the car, it's going to strengthen the overall structure and supposedly reduce the weight. Moving around the rear of the vehicle, you can see it looks pretty much the same as a regular Golf. This is the ultimate sleeper vehicle because really, aside from just the slightly bigger black painted rear spoiler on the back, you can't really tell this is a special Golf until you start noticing, again, the blue R badging here for the 20th anniversary. And then, of course, there's the signature quad outlet exhaust tips. Now, Volkswagen didn't put their special high performance exhaust that you can get in Europe in this car, but they have tuned this exhaust to be slightly more noisier and just meaner sounding. But let's go ahead and fire it up. You can hear how it sounds. Definitely a lot more impressed with the noise that the Golf R makes. It even makes some crackles and pops, as you guys will hear later on during the driving scene. Now, in terms of the rear, you can see LED taillights, LED brake lights, LED reverse light, LED turn signal. It's all a very nicely finished off vehicle. It looks very premium. I also like the fact that you still get a rear wiper. That's not something that you'll find on some hatchbacks or even SUVs nowadays. And then opening up the cargo area, it's not a power lift gate, which it could be at this price point, but you get around just under 20 cubic feet of storage space back here, which is very usable. You can see underneath here, there is no temporary spare. Instead, you just have, I believe, like a fix-a-flat kind of kit. And if you fold down the back seats, it expands it out to 34.5 cubic feet. Now that is competitive, but I will say that the Civic Type R should offer more, but this also should offer more than the very much smaller GR Corolla. So let's go ahead and talk about the interior and all the styling changes or upgrades that Volkswagen gave the 20th anniversary model. However, before we get inside, let me first show you guys the key fob. You can see this is the newer Volkswagen key that they first introduced, I believe, on the ID4. It's a nice, sturdy, heavy-feeling key. It's their intelligent access key. You have a blue R logo, of course, when you go for the 20th anniversary. Just to remind you, then you have the special version. It has the usual buttons for lock, open up the trunk, and then unlock, and then panic. Technically, it's not a power liftgate. It'll just kind of pop open the trunk. You have to open it up manually. If you have access to the CarNet services or the CarNet app on your smartphone, you should be able to also access this vehicle as well. Now, as you approach the vehicle, there's a setting where you can actually set it to where it'll unlock the vehicle as you approach because it senses the key. I didn't walk away far enough, so it's not doing that for me right now, but trust me, it works. You can see there's a little ridge area here. You touch that, that'll lock the doors for you. Surprisingly, this car doesn't come with auto folding mirrors or power folding mirrors. You can see there's that badge to remind you again, you've got the special Golf. Touch the back of the door handle, that will unlock the door for you. This vehicle does not, however, offer an auto walk-away auto lock feature, which is something that some competitors do offer. Now you can see the interior. I hope you guys like black because the Golf R 20th anniversary or the other ones only come with this Titan black leather seat with the blue accents. You've got the blue R logo, of course. The door panels, you can see, have a high quality soft touch injection molded plastic material. You have aluminum for the door handle. You have real genuine carbon fiber that you'll find on the door panels and on the dash. Padded area over here. This is hard touch plastic, but I like how they put kind of like a carpeting fabric material in the actual door panel, which is nice. The seats, they adjust in 12 different ways. You have a 12-way power adjustment for the driver, and you also get 3-person memory. No massaging seats, but my tester also has heated and ventilated seats. So this is, again, kind of built off of the Autobahn trim of a GTI, so it is basically fully loaded. I am sad to see the lack of a sunroof, though. It deletes that when you guys go for this trim to save weight. Now, getting inside, you can see it's got a low step in height. Remember, this is a car. It's not a crossover, which is very refreshing. As I get in and shut the door, The MQB architecture gives you a nice solid sounding thunk, which gives you that impression of quality. Now, starting the vehicle up, you can see all Golf Rs come with their latest infotainment system here with the 2 displays. The start-stop button is this square button here just above the shifter. Push that. You can hear the engine fires right up. This is not electrified or a mild hybrid, so it has a traditional starter noise, which again is very refreshing for those of you who prefer that. Now, looking at the rest of this interior, once it starts up, first of all, the dash has a soft touch injection molded plastic. It comes standard, of course, with a heads-up display. It's extending over here to this side of the dash. I love the way the exposed carbon fiber looks. Again, this is all genuine. It's exclusive to this 20th anniversary trim. The steering wheel, you can see, looks great. It has a blue R logo here with the flat bottom design. It has the blue stitching as well. Paddles on the wheel for the transmission for the 7-speed dual clutch. This button here controls your drive mode selector. You can see, push that button, it gives you all these different drive modes. It also gives you 2 additional modes if you guys put it into the race mode, where you can also go to a special Nürburgring mode. You can hear the engine gets louder and it revs up in drift or special mode. And listen to the engine. Inside the vehicle, you hear kind of like a synthesized noise from the speakers, but it still sounds good. You also still hear some of the cracks and the pops from the exhaust. Now you can see the instrument panel, as you guys saw, it also changed the way it looked based on the drive mode. You can also go back to the regular sport button here. It'll bring the revs down and it gives you back a more traditional look. You can also push this button right here, and you can also change the view of this even further to put the GPS in there, or to put like a driver assist display, just a simple speedometer, or you can also give a more sport display with the TAC front and center. So this is all very nice. I like the way that Volkswagen allows you to kind of customize this. There's the race setting that you guys saw when you put it in the race mode. I personally like this mode the most. It kind of shows you all your usual information. This is a 12-inch display here, and then this is a 10.3-inch display here. This is Volkswagen's latest infotainment system, which has proximity sensing, and it also has some voice commands as well. But what I don't like about the system, as you can see, is it's finicky. The software behind it still needs work. You do have heated and cooled seats, which are, again, are in the screen. As you can see, I'm trying to activate the cooled seat there, but it's finicky. I have to literally touch it in just the right place to get it to activate. Now, once I do, the cooled seat function works well. The heated seat function also works well. You can also activate like your climate system here, where there's an air care, there's an air ionizer filtration system. You can see it gives you a little rendering of what that's like when you turn it on and off, which is kind of cool. This all would be really nice if it just worked properly. Now, the other thing that I also really appreciate, there's the home button. You can see it's kind of slow. There's your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It takes up mostly the whole screen, although there is a lot of unused black real estate here. I wish that Volkswagen kind of did a 12-inch display. They offer that in other vehicles, but not on the Golf R. This is the largest that you can get. When you put the vehicle in reverse, you can see there's your backup camera with parking sensors and trajectory. The graphics work fine. There's no 360 camera. Volkswagen doesn't offer that. And then if you look over here, you can see this is for your driver assistance stuff. You can kind of adjust the driver assistance tech. You can go to your climate over there. You can go to your drive mode selector. Again, there's 4 until you hit race, where it gives you 2 additional modes. There's also a custom setting, where when you go to the custom setting, you can kind of change the dampers to your liking, the steering, the drivetrain, the engine sound, the adaptive cruise, and the light assist, because it has swiveling adaptive headlights. So again, this is all fairly customizable, and it kind of gives you the ability to custom tailor this vehicle. You can see your volume control is right here. Hate this little wheel, this little slider, which you can also do that. Once you get used to it, it works, but again, it also has a touch slider here on the steering wheel. So again, you've got slider controls here on the steering wheel and touch controls there on the center display, which isn't ideal. The wheel itself does have a manual tilt telescoping ability, a good amount of a range and adjustability. The horn sounds good. It doesn't sound puny like I've heard in the GR Corolla, for example. You can see wireless phone charging pad over here, which is nice. Your shifter here, this is very Porsche-like with this little toggle that you push up to go to reverse, push down to go to drive, push the P button to go to park. There's a little bit of storage over here where you can put some loose change. You have a cup holder area here. We can also kind of make this go away and give you a little bit more storage. Push that button, it gives you back the cup holder. You have a 12-volt power outlet here. And then you also have 2 USB-C charging ports. Now, this center console does open up, and it has a decent amount of storage space. There's no actual plugs in there and whatnot. These seats are very comfortable and supportive. This seat here is manual, although the recline is power, but everything else is manual. The glove compartment, you can see, is a bin style. It's damped, but not lined with felt. It's a pretty big size. The Harman Kardon stereo in this vehicle sounds good in case you guys get tired of listening to the engine. And then you can see here you have LED map lighting, no sunroof as you can see, but it gives you more headroom space. But overall, the interior definitely has a premium feel to it. It just is let down by this laggy software in the infotainment system. But other than that, it gives you good space, good visibility, and some great tech features. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat because the Golf R only comes as a 4-door. So if you guys are trying to sell this to your spouse, you're going to appreciate the fact that this vehicle does have decent space, around 35 inches of legroom back here, which is more than a GR Corolla and a little bit less than the Civic Type R. Now, sadly, the materials back here are hard touch plastic. This is padded, however, which is nice. As I get back here, you can see these seats, they do fold down and give you almost a completely flat load floor. They don't recline though. That's not something that I was expecting, but I do love the way the seats look with the blue accents and the carbon fiber look accents as well. As I get in and shut the door, you can see this is where I have the seat to drive. It gives me a good amount of space, although crossing your legs, it's a little bit tight back here for me, but there's good foot space. There's a hump here that intrudes on the middle passenger. You have your own set of climate control, so it's 3-zone climate automatic. Again, that's very unique, along with heated rear seats. Try finding that in a GR Corolla or a Civic Type R, or even an Integra Type S. You don't even get this in the Integra Type S, which is $52,000, so that's kind of an insult from Acura. You can see nice storage cubbies here for your phone on the top of the seat backs, and there's storage compartment here. You also have an armrest that folds down and gives you 2 cup holders. There's also a little bit of a pass-through here, so it gives you all that extra versatility. So overall, if you want to sell this to your spouse as a family vehicle, you can, but if you're going to try to put car seats in this vehicle, it may end up being a little bit tight. So here we are back in the quintessential German hot hatch, the ultimate Golf R, or the ultimate Golf, basically, the R. And while it has been about a year since I drove this all-new Mark 8 Golf R, the one that I drove last year that Volkswagen sent me for a week was the manual transmission. It's unique to the US market because only in America can you get a manual Golf R. However, this is the 20th anniversary version with the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. This is the one that's going to give you the quickest accelerating Golf R, the quickest performing one on the track, and this 20th anniversary model certainly has really attractive changes to the styling. I love this lapis blue, but it doesn't get any more power like you get in Europe, where the Golf R there, the 20th anniversary, gets an extra 14 horsepower for nearly 330. But still, 315 is a fantastic amount of power, and it puts it among the best in the segment. So let's go ahead and see what we can get 0 to 60 wise with the dual clutch model. I have it in race mode with the stability control in its sport setting. It has launch control. Ooh. Oh. 0 to 60 in 4.16 seconds. Now, I believe Volkswagen rates it at like 4.5, but Germans tend to underrate their vehicles. 4.16 is a pretty fantastic number, I must admit. That is the quickest in the segment. I mean, the other 2 competitors, the GR Corolla and the Civic Type R, they simply can't match the speed that this thing can accelerate in because of that dual clutch. As you guys know, the Corolla and the Civic only offer it with a 6-speed manual. I think the quickest time I got with the GR Corolla was 4.9 seconds. That's with a very aggressive clutch dump. I haven't had a chance to get a Type R or an Integra Type S for a full week just yet, but whew, that number is painfully fast. I mean, it's otherworldly fast for considering this is a hot hatch. But let's try it really quick here. This time I'm not going to actually use the launch control. Let's see what the difference is without launch control. Noticeably slower, but man, once that boost kicks in, sounds good too. That dual clutch shifts so fast. 4.93 there. Now, that's with it more going slightly more uphill, but we also didn't use the launch control. So the launch control, as you guys saw, will shave about a second time, or almost a second off the 0 to 60 time. We'll try it one more time with the launch control up ahead, but that is still plenty fast. I mean, even without launch control, just put your foot down and you'll be getting to 60 in under 5 seconds. It's just insane. That is just fast. But once you start pushing the Golf R around some corners, this is where the car's mundane looks on the outside will certainly surprise you when you're behind the wheel, because while it does look a little bit conservative and bland on the outside, this thing drives like a hot hatch. It has a chassis that is just incredible. It's got the newest 4Motion all-wheel drive with a torque vectoring rear diff, a limited slip diff on the front. This thing has a drift mode where it can send up to 50% of the power to the rear axle, and it can also put 100% of the torque to one rear wheel if it needs to kind of allow you to do a little bit of tail out slides. It's not going to be quite as aggressive as the old Ford Focus RS, or even I believe the GR Corolla can send a little bit more power to the rear. The Toyota will allow you to do 70%, but no hot hatch on the market will currently let you do like actually rear wheel burnouts because again, it's just not the design of these all-wheel drive systems. They are more for traction, but the Golf R has amazingly quick steering, still a little bit light in terms of the feel of the steering wheel. I want it to be a little heavier, but the suspension with the adaptive dampers in race mode, it's just really, really good. I really like the way this feels a lot. Now I want to actually switch it here into the drift mode, and we're going to turn here and see what it can do. Oh, yes! Oh, that is nice. This thing now, again, it doesn't step out in a way that's gonna scare the crap out of you, but you can feel it, give it more of a rear drive biased all-wheel drive system. It's kind of akin to like a German sports sedan, like a BMW 3 Series with its all-wheel drive system, but again, you go for the all-wheel drive model. It still gives you that rear drive feel. Now, I'm gonna try it one more time here. We're gonna use the launch control. 4,000 clutch dump. Oh! Oh. 4.18 there, so man, this thing is fast. What a fast, insanely quick hot hatch. I'm impressed. I like this car with the manual. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love manuals, but this dual clutch is a game changer in the segment. I mean, again, if you want an automatic option, there's nothing out there. I just drove the Subaru WRX GT, and that doesn't even compete with this car. It has a CVT. This, however, has that transmission that enthusiasts love. There we go, the back stepped out a little bit there. I love it. And listen to that engine. This engine also makes a great sound. It has some cracks and burbles and pops from the exhaust. Now, it's not quite as loud as I'd like it to be, but it does sound better than the Civic Type R for sure. I need to spend more time with the Integra Type S. The GR Corolla also has a very good sound. I mean, all of them sound good in their own way, except for maybe the Civic doesn't sound, or it sounds probably the least good. Oh, listen to that. Still let the back step out a little bit there. I love that. I mean, remember, in drift mode, the stability control is in its less aggressive or a sport setting, so it's gonna let the back step out a little bit more, but this thing on a back road, man, it's insane how fast this thing is. But let's go ahead and switch it over to its comfort or custom setting. Now, in this setting, I actually have it set to be in comfort suspension. So it's got adaptive dampers, it's gonna be in comfort now, but everything else is in basically sport. The steering's in sport, the powertrain response is in sport. But you can hear, or I also have the exhaust set to sport or race mode, so it's gonna be the loudest exhaust. But when you have it in this mode, you can feel it gets a little bit more relaxed, although if you really wanted to go relax, just push the R button here again and go to comfort setting. So if you go to comfort setting now, this is where everything kind of changes to its efficiency setting. The suspension gets really soft, the steering gets light. The exhaust gets quieter, but this is where the Golf R shows you its dual personalities. Even though we're on these big 19-inch wheels with a 35 series rubber, this thing rides really well. Now, you still need to avoid potholes like the plague because it will destroy the wheels. You'll bend the wheel pretty easily, but I'm pretty shocked at how comfortable this thing is to drive. It's also great on the highway. It has adaptive cruise control with traffic jam assistance, so it has all the technology you want. The seats also are comfortable and supportive, yet they also still hug you. Now, I will say that the Type R, I believe, has seats that'll hug you a little bit more. Same thing with the GR Corolla, but this is still a really good seat that holds you in place very nicely. And it just feels comfortable. That's the one thing about this car. Again, if you need to use it as a daily driver, the seats feel really comfortable, but they still hold you in place nicely. I also like the leather material, the way they look as well, though I wish VW offered a different color interior. You only get this black, the Titan black with the blue accents, which is nice, but I would like to see them offer a lighter color as well. And then in terms of the fuel economy, this thing is rated at 23 in the city, 30 on the highway. That's premium gas. The dual clutch technically gets better MPG. In my week's worth of testing, I averaged around 24 miles to the gallon in mixed driving. On the highway, this thing is pretty good. It actually did 32 miles to the gallon, so it beat the EPA's numbers. That is excellent fuel efficiency. Combine it with the 16, I believe it's a 14 or it's a 15 or 16 gallon gas tank, and you're looking at around 400 miles of range between fill-ups. So again, performance car, but decent range, decent efficiency, very comfortable. This is such a amazing all-around vehicle, and that's what makes the Golf R so good. And VW has also seen a huge uptick in sales. Oh, huge. The vehicle sales, I believe, are up like 30% compared to the previous year. So I'm happy to see that this car is doing well for Volkswagen. But again, Volkswagen just makes it pretty easy with, for those of you who want it, you buy the Golf R in either manual or automatic DSG for $800 bucks more, and then if you want $700 to spend on this 20th anniversary, the company is only making around 1,500 of these, I believe. So, you know, get them while you can. But overall, I'm impressed. I think I like this car more with the dual clutch. Again, if you guys like manuals, you want to drive manual, pick it up as well. But if you're looking for something that, you know, can take you to and from point A to B on longer trips, but also you can deal with rush hour traffic just fine, this model here is definitely that perfect middle ground, and it's because VW offers it with this fantastic dual clutch transmission. So if you guys are looking for the ultimate all-weather hot hatch, I have to say, after spending a full week with the ultimate version of the Golf R, also one of the most rare because Volkswagen says they're only going to be building or importing around 1,800 of these for the US market, and it's going to make it a lot more exclusive. But after spending some time with the DSG, this Golf R really surprised me. I mean, when I first drove this car, I really liked it, but then I also had a chance to just drive the Civic Type R on the first drive, the Integra Type S on the first drive, and of course, I spent a full week with the GR Corolla Circuit Edition. And while the Golf R has the most mundane looks, this thing literally kind of just looks like a regular Golf with nicer wheels, bigger brakes, and a wing out back. It is the most sleeper in terms of its design. Don't let that fool you, because this vehicle still drives like a precision tool. The chassis of the Mark 8, the MQB architecture, is fantastic. The suspension tuning with the adaptive dampers, with the strong brakes, with that potent turbocharged engine. I mean, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds really shocked me. I mean, this thing is almost a second faster than all of its competitors, but keep in mind, all of its competitors are also manual. And if you're going to drive the manual Golf R, when I spent a week with that vehicle, that took around 5.3 seconds to get to 60. So you are literally shaving over a second off the 0 to 60 time by going with the DSG. And also keep in mind, if you guys want an automatic in this segment, this is the only option out there with that option, because the other option is the Subaru WRX GT, which I also just spent a day driving out in California. I wasn't really impressed with that model. It is a good driving vehicle, but it just doesn't have the kind of satisfaction that you get with the sound, with the acceleration, because as you guys saw, the time of this vehicle puts it along the lines of some far more expensive and far more higher horsepower competition with this performance. But overall, my gripes with this vehicle remain the infotainment system. I think Volkswagen really just needs to upgrade the system, improve the software, add some actual buttons and a volume knob, because that touch sensitive slider is just kind of infuriating to use, and it also lagged a little bit at times when I was using it and trying to use it on a daily basis. But really, if you guys look at the Golf R, some of you may complain that the price of this vehicle is too much, because if you guys want this vehicle, they start at just under $45,000 for the fully loaded non-20th anniversary. Volkswagen only charges $650 for the 20th anniversary, so pick one of these up while you can. Again, you'll be only one of 1,800 here in the US for the 2023 model year. From there on, you can take your pick between either an automatic or the manual. The automatic is $800 more, and then VW only offers it in 3 colors: blue, black, or white. They used to offer more, but they've been kind of like dwindling down the colors for the 2023 model year. All in, my tester here is around $47,000 and some change with destination. That sounds like a lot of money, especially when you look at a Volkswagen GTI, which starts at 30 grand. However, this vehicle is fully loaded, and if you are going to compare it equipment-wise to a GTI, you have to look at the Autobahn trim, which is about 40 grand. So really, Volkswagen only charges around $5,000 extra for the R, which means you get an extra 75 horsepower and you get that all-wheel drive system, which is kind of a bargain. Now, compared to the Type R and the GR Corolla, its two rivals, this vehicle here is about $2,000 more expensive. Now, I'd say it's worth it, especially if you guys want an automatic. You can also consider the Subaru WRX GT, which also comes with a Lineartronic CVT, is also around 44 grand, but really, no other competitor offers that enticing combination plus a dual clutch transmission in this price range, so it makes the Golf R a super unique vehicle. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the brand new 2023 Volkswagen Golf R. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.